It was a bit of a journey, and I took the jump with a lot of fear, a lot of fear, a lot of crying, a lot of calling my best friend, going, I'm gonna make it out alive. I had the most amazing boss. My colleagues were amazing. My client to paperwork ratio was amazing. With all that momentum, nothing should go wrong, right? That's the path. Except when the pandemic hit, I came to realize I was so miserable and I didn't know anything about personal development. I didn't know where to look. This is all I knew. This is the world that I was brought up and groomed to work in. It was at that time that I decided that, okay, I'm going to quit law. I don't know where I'm going, but I know that I can't stay. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm only going to follow what brought me joy. At any given moment, if it's not bringing me joy, I'm not doing it. To actually sacrifice our happiness is probably the most selfish thing in the world in the grand scheme of things, the way I see it. This is what I want to spread in the world. I want everyone to experience that joy. And I don't mean the soulless kind of happiness from getting the newest iPhone. I'm talking about joy, real joy, the kind of joy when you look at someone and you see their face just radiant and glowing.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's conversation. You may have been watching the podcast videos, but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have ever gained value from our videos, from our conversations, it would mean so much to us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now, or even just give us a like. And what that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it allows us to bring in more important guests for you to listen to, and you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's conversation.
Welcome to Pathways to Wellbeing, presented by Sacred You, a global community empowering women everywhere. My name is Helen Prince, and I'm very happy to introduce you today to Andrea Fung. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you so much for having me, Helen. I am so excited to see what magic and where the conversation is going to go and flow and what's going to transpire from everything today. Thank you.
Me too, because you, Andrea, used to be a lawyer and now you're in this beautiful transformation coaching space and energy healing. It's like you've gone from one spectrum to the other. And I really want to find out a lot about that in itself. Actually, let's start with that. How did you take that jump from here to here? Because they're like worlds apart.
It was a bit of a journey, and I took the jump with a lot of fear, a lot of fear, a lot of crying, a lot of calling my best friend, going, I'm gonna make it out alive. But ultimately, I think it helped that I had already quit law once before. So when I first started in law, so I practiced law for 6 years. And my first 3 years was in family law and domestic violence and child protection. And even then, something was already off. So I took a sabbatical and I thought, let's go travel the world for a year, South America, the UK, Europe, and just see if any career inspiration came up. And I found so much of myself, but not the career inspiration. So I thought, okay, let's just go back to law again, but something not so heavy. So I went into wills and estates, and I had the most amazing boss. My colleagues were amazing. My clients were amazing. My client to paperwork ratio was amazing. With all that momentum, nothing should go wrong, right? That's the path. Except when the pandemic hit, I came to realize I was so miserable and I didn't know anything about personal development. I didn't know where to look. This is all I knew. This is the world that I was brought up and groomed to work in. And then I was really sinking into a big depression. And my best friend pushed me to work with a coach. And at this point, this was end of 2020, I didn't even know that there were coaches outside of sports coaches. So like
Yeah.
people who teach you how to do gymnastics or tennis or something. So I didn't know about this area. And if I didn't even know about this area, what did I know about energy healing? Nothing, like literally nothing. If someone came to me at the time saying, oh, I can help you heal your chakras, I'd be like, please do not come near me, please. So that was where I was at. And I thought, you know what? I didn't know where else to look. I see positive results coming from my best friend. So let's just give it a go. And so I showed up every day. She's a spiral practitioner. She did go through all of my chakras, and I didn't know what that was about. I just showed up and I gave her what trauma happened when I was 4 years old, 7 years old, whatever it is. And it was at that time that I decided that, okay, I'm going to quit law. I don't know where I'm going, but I know that I can't stay. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm only going to follow what brought me joy. At any given moment, if it's not bringing me joy, I'm not doing it. And that took me down the path of being a social media influencer, social media manager, a digital nomad coach, a mindset coach, a theta healer, and now finally calibrating all of that together, combining transformational coaching and energy healing with this amazing mission of connecting people to their higher self and to a galactic family sometime in the future. That's where I'm at. And I'd love to bring this work to burnt out corporate professionals, to the me of 4 years ago, and to give them
Yeah.
a taste of what's possible, life doesn't have to be like that.
That that's so incredible. Your journey is so incredible. And I think there are so many people, though, that had a very similar experience in the whole feeling lost. The pandemic sort of made us face a lot of the stuff that we didn't have to face before because we were busy doing life. And then we were forced into this not busyness. And it was such a weird time. But I think it brought up a lot of stuff and put it in front of people's faces. So that whole feeling lost and not knowing what does it all mean? Is this all there is to life sort of thing that is quite common. And
Mm,
I think especially, and I love that your niche is corporate world because
mm,
there is so much burnout. We're told you go to school, you get good grades, you go to university, you get a job, you stay there forever until you die, and you have to work hard. And no one talks about it. It's if you can find something that makes you happy, then do it. But it's like that is some mystical unicorn that, if you're lucky enough to do that, and I think that it's so much round the wrong way. I love
absolutely.
that if it didn't make me happy, I didn't do it. And this is where I think, in my perspective, that's the biggest challenge. Breaking that conditioning that happiness comes second.
You're
It's
absolutely
about
right.
because you can be happy and be a professional. It's not
Yes,
it's not either or.
it's
So I
not
love
either or.
doing that. And I love that you're helping corporate people to realize. And
Mm.
I know the answer to this. I'm interested in your answer. I know my perspective, I should say. Why should we put so much focus on being happy? Isn't that selfish?
It comes across as selfish because, and I can say that from the perspective of a woman growing up in an Asian country. I think you know where this is going, where we were brought up to be nurturing and sacrificial, and we were brought up in this society where we want people's approval. And in order to obtain the approval of others, and this extends to both genders, by the way, it's not just about being a woman, there's this need to please, to play into other people's expectations of us. And so because we are conditioned, because we are brought up in this world, it comes across as if it's selfish. But to actually sacrifice our happiness is probably the most selfish thing in the world in the grand scheme of things, the way I see it. Because hurt people, if I'm really unhappy, that energy is going to leak out. I'm going to be snapping at even my bosses. I'm going to be snapping at my friends. I'm not going to be able to hold space for the people that I love. And if it's for people that we love, don't we want to pour all that love out? In saying that, I know lots of people, especially in the healing space, they love, like the empathy is so deep and they want to help other people. But if you're doing it from the energy of wanting validation, of needing to feel needed, Is that authentic? Is that real? Is that really coming from a place of empowerment? Or if you're able to pour so much abundance into yourself, so much love into yourself to the point where it overflows, is that not the purest of loving energies that the world would benefit? You know, you're pouring out love from a true happiness, from a place of genuine joy that is pure, that is of the purest frequencies, because it's coming from an overflow, not coming from, I give this to you with the hopes of you giving something back to me, and that something back being validation and approval and love in exchange for what I am going to give you.
Yeah. It's conditional, and there is an element of lack in there.
It's
And
transactional in
I
a way.
exactly, if I do this, then I expect that. And then what if that doesn't come back? Then there's the disappointment, there's the unappreciation, there's the bitterness, the resentment. It all comes in. And we are always, what is that saying? You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
Always pouring from our cup. And this is what you were saying before. If my cup is empty, then I am pouring out anger and hurt and sadness and all of those things. But when my cup is overflowing with all of the love, and that's just natural, that's what I'm pouring. We're always pouring something.
Yes, yes.
And this is what I think people need to really understand. What is your ripple? And is that the ripple that you want to be giving? And I think this is why I love that you had that awakening, and it's like, hang on, I'm not happy and not settling. So what do you think when people say, "Oh, I'm happy enough, I'm not happy all the time," but nobody's happy all the time. What's your perspective on that? And people just being, this is how it is and it's as good as it gets sort of thing.
I see that with a lot of people who are very comfortable, because it's not easy to sacrifice that really good monthly paycheck. I know what that feels like, and I know it's not easy to sacrifice the identity that you have taken on as a lawyer, as a doctor, as an engineer, as this person who's got it all together, because with that paycheck comes the money, it comes the lifestyle, it comes the bags, the all of that. And it's easy to suppress all of that. It's easy to, even if there was a little voice that said, is this all there is to it? Oh, no, it's too scary to go down that path, because deep, deep down, we know the truth that if we were to venture out of that, is not a reality that we actually want to experience. So that's my take on that. I feel that for the people who feel that, oh, is this really all there is to it? They're at that breaking point of an awakening. Because if you're starting to question, then it means that you're ready. Because otherwise you wouldn't question. You wouldn't even go there. I know, because I didn't even want to go there. But when you start to question, if you're able to if they're able to allow themselves to just take that next step of inquiring further, what else could there be? Maybe our minds are so limited. We live in a reality that is projected, that is based on a future projected by our limited minds, but there is so much more when we're able to expand our consciousness beyond our 3D reality, beyond what we can perceive in our five senses. There's just so much more to that. And it's just about, can you give yourself a bit of that grace and that compassion to just take that one tiny leap of faith to see what's out there? Just one tiny one.
That's the scary thing, isn't it? I think we leap too far forward. So how did you take that one little step first? Because you said before that it was scary, and the thought of having to walk away from this regular, secure paycheck and the prestige that comes with that. Anything that we do out of our comfort zone, as we know, is uncomfortable. What advice do you have for people? How did you take that step?
I think the first step was, number one, to recognize that I don't think we're not meant to be suffering for the rest of our lives. We deserve to be happy. I am here to be happy. As someone who is a generator in human design, I am all about following my joy. I'm all about doing what it is that lights me up. And sometimes it's just recognizing that, hey, I deserve to live a life being lit up. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
that one simple acceptance. And then after that, a practical step that I did was I listed down a list of 100 things that I would do for free forever. And I looked at the top 5. And the top 5 involved me prancing around in beautiful bikinis in exotic beaches, spreading positive messages. So the coach that I worked with at the time just said, "Well, why don't you start an Instagram account? It's not for you to monetize. It's just to start, just to give it a go." And I had a lot of savings at the time. And so I would say for someone who is looking to transition out, you have to look at your financial circumstances at the time. What are your responsibilities? Do you have children? Do you have a family that you have to feed? For me, I didn't have kids. It was just me. I had savings. So I could just make that U-turn or just go that 180-degree transition if I wanted to. But that's my life. Not everyone would be in the same situation. So I decided.
Love that you said that though, Andrea. Sorry to interrupt
Oh,
you
it's
there,
fine.
because everyone does have different priorities, and this is not about just stop and drop everything and drop all your responsibilities. This is about looking at, okay, where am I? What do I actually want? What do I need to do to be able to get there? You don't have to have all the answers, and
No,
it's
you
not.
don't.
And I think sometimes we get that whole, oh, it's all or nothing. No, we're not saying go quit your job and then put yourself under more stress.
Yes.
That's not the answer either. So I love that you said that. Look at where you are and what other factors are to it, because there is always going to be a way forward.
Yes.
And this is where people like yourself and coaches come in to be able to help people navigate that and get through that initial, because it is scary in the beginning.
Yes,
And
it
you want to have
is.
someone like you holding your hand. I'm sorry, keep going with what you were
No,
saying.
I'm really glad that you emphasize that because I do, as you said, so many people think that, oh, you've made this transition from law to coach, and then they don't. I think with many people in the coaching industry or entrepreneurial industry, no, they don't. We don't really show probably enough of what happens in the transition. We just show this is where we were, this is where we're at now, and it's as if it's some overnight success, and it's not. It is so not. It's so hard, and I'm sure you understand, Helena. It's so hard, and sometimes even when it seems like on the outside you've got it all together, but it's so hard sometimes. Honestly, there are many moments of heavenly joy and ease and flow, but it's not to say that there are no moments of overwhelm throughout the way. So I want to dispel any kind of illusion that it's so easy because it's not. In some points it is, but in many points it's actually not. The thing is, when you get used to continuously putting one foot forward, continuously taking those mini leaps of faith, because those big shifts that we see, it required many small micro decisions to lead up to that big shift. It's not just, oh yeah, one day I'm a lawyer and the next day I'm a coach. That's not how it that's not how it works. So it's just taking those one little step, and depending on what your circumstances are, maybe it's starting a side business as to start with. Sometimes it's about just following, like reigniting, like experiencing, discovering, reigniting what brings you joy. That was what it was like for me, because if someone asked me, Andy, what did you want to do? I'd be like, I don't know. What do you like to do? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Traveling? No one's ever asked me that. I didn't know.
And we know what we don't want. We don't often know what we do want. And so when your coach said to you, okay, we'll start this Instagram account, it wasn't for you to make money. How did that sort of play out in the steps? Because like you say, it's these little steps. We don't start at the bottom and then tomorrow we're at the top of the mountain. There's lots of little steps to get up there. So how did that sort of, because you said is, oh, okay, an Instagram, how does that sort of fit in? We like to have everything mapped out.
Yes.
I guess that gives us a sense of security. But talk me through that, how, how things unfold, I guess is where I'm going with this.
Yes, thank you, Helen, for bringing me back to that. So I started off being a social media influencer, and I had it in my mind that, oh, I am going to grow this. I am going to be a social media influencer. I am going to get brand sponsorships, get paid to travel. That was such deluded thinking, right? For someone just
Some
starting
people do
out.
it.
Yeah, some people don't. Many people do it. It's just for someone starting out to have that dream was just like so deluded in so many ways. But delusional is great. I live into my magic. It's amazing. And then while I was doing that, I had two people approach me saying, "Hey, I love how you've grown your account. It looks so beautiful. The travel photos are amazing. The messages are so positive. Could you please help me grow my account?" So I became so they paid me to actually grow their account, to start and grow their account. And during that process, I came across a digital nomad coach, and she coaches women to start their own business so that they can travel and all this kind of thing. And I wanted to do that because I thought that would be great. I'd love to teach women how to travel, but how could I coach someone to start their own business when I was just starting my business? So I was
Yeah.
in the throes of burnout. All my childhood trauma came up because I've never started a business before. I had all these fears of being seen, fears of failure, fears of abandonment, fears of rejection, all of those things. It was just so bad, honestly, and I was exhausted, and the separation lines between work and home blurred into nothing, because when you're working from home, you get to work 24
Yeah.
hours if you wanted to. And it got to a
Yeah.
point where I just threw my hands up and I was like, you know what? I surrender. I give up on this for now. Let me just rest for a bit and I will come back to it at a later date. But during that time of rest, I happened to fire up my LinkedIn account again after not being on it for a couple of months. And I actually received a job offer from a director of a coaching institute here in Brisbane. He said, "Oh, I've got these clients. I really appreciated the conversation we had about quantum shifting or whatever it is at the time. I can't remember. And would you like to coach with me?" And so, yeah, went and coached in his company for about a year. I learned his entire program. It was my intro into mindset coaching. I didn't even know what that was. And then after that, I decided to learn NLP. And circumstances took me to my brother's house, and then I decided to follow my intuition and my curiosity. I wanted to look for a star family. And this trance channeler that I hired at the time, she also did theta healing. And so she offered it as part of the service. And that was my first introduction to energy healing. And I didn't even know what that was. This is the thing. With all of these things, I don't know that it exists for me to even look for it. So how can I research something? I can't even manifest this because I don't know that it exists. It's not like I see healers all around the place or coaches all around the place because it was the pandemic. So I can't, I want to, like, it's a story that is so magical, and I'll never get bored sharing it because I can't even say that I'm into manifestation, because how can I manifest something that I know nothing about? I don't have a vision board. To this day, I don't have a vision board. I don't have a list of things that I want to do. I just work on my energy and allow my frequency to bring in things. And so from theta healing onwards, I got offered an opportunity to learn this modality from my current mentor, and she offered it to me, and I was just like, wow, I didn't even think that I could even do this because it cost so much money, but it was offered to me, and I'm going to take it. I don't know how I'm going to get the money for it, but I'm going to take it, and I made it work. And to this day, most recently, she offered me a part-time position as a facilitator in her business. And this is the time that she's expanding her business. And this is like a dream. This is like a dream that I never even dared to dream. So this is where I talk about how there will be an ease and there will be a flow to things. But somewhere in between, there will be this many moments of, oh my God, is this happening? How am I going to get this money? How am I going to get these clients? And blah, blah, blah. How am I going to make this work? Am I really made out for this? But if you just work on the energy, continuously connect to the higher self, it will guide you there. And that's how it got from lawyer to where I am now.
You said you're not a manifester, but you are. We all are. And that is the law of attraction 101. Work on your vibration, and then you will attract whatever the frequency you're sending out. You will attract things on the same frequency, and you don't have
That is
to
true.
know what they are. And this is what you're saying. You worked on your energy and you made sure that your energy was, I'm just going to say positive for ease of
Yes.
explaining. You made sure your energy was positive. Therefore, you attract things on the same frequency. And allowing things to unfold. And I love that because you didn't know where you were going. You just knew that you wanted joy.
Yes.
That was it.
And
And then
purpose.
that's right. And then the things that unfold are things that you weren't expecting, but they gave you joy.
Mm.
And we can get caught up in the I want this and this, and the stress of trying to get that in this way,
Yes.
like this. Oh, here it is over here. No, can't see it.
Yes.
That whole keeping it just about your energy and your goal, because
Yes.
there's so many ways to achieve joy.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you said that, Helen, because I think like when I said that, I'm not even like into manifesting. I know that we manifest all the time. But when I look at the manifesting community, there is a very, okay, this is what I want. And I have to get that. Just, but
Usually material. It's a
yes,
job or it's a relationship or it's money or it's a thing,
yes, yes.
whereas it should be a feeling.
Yes, yes. And it's all those things that they're writing down saying that, okay, this is the thing that is going to make me feel a love or joy or peace or whatever it is. But really, there's so much more out there that could bring you all of these things if you just surrender and open and just
Mm.
allow instead of like white knuckling on that manifestation list and that vision board.
Because when you're doing that, your energy is dropping.
Yes, that's
And
exactly
therefore,
right.
you're attracting things down here on this frequency.
Mm.
Yeah,
And it's just unnecessary. It doesn't have
it
to
is
be that.
unnecessary. And this is where, so how do you get people to wrap their heads around that and take the focus off the thing and bring them back to, especially so like you were from the corporate world and you were
Mhm.
saying if someone said, come I'll work on your chakras, you're going like, I don't know, how do you explain it to people? How do you get them to see that this is one way of doing it, but here's another way that you can do it that will provide the flow and the ease that you're looking for? A lot of uneducation, I think.
To me, joy is our natural abundant frequency. It's part of our source frequency that incorporates, love and peace and happiness and all of those things. And to me, based on my personal experience, joy is the way, it's our innate intelligence. It's the way that our soul communicates with us. The same way with things that make us sad, things that make us happy. It's unique to each and every one of us. What brings you joy is going to be different to what brings me joy. But if we're able to just follow that, if we're able to allow ourselves to immerse in the feelings of joy, then not only would you have a clear head, you would naturally want other people to be joyful with you. You naturally want to share that joy with other people. And whatever it is that you put out, you are going to get back. So if I were to make it extremely simple using the typical philosophies that we have been brought up with, it would be that. It would be if you want to get joy back, you need to put joy out. And how do you do that? It's by finding out what brings you joy. In what areas do you believe that you are unworthy of being happy? In what areas do you believe that you are not deserving to receive? So when you go through all of those layers, you naturally release you would shift beliefs that no longer serve you, that are not in alignment with the joy that you want to feel, that are not in alignment with who you really are. And as you shift all that, your vibration as would naturally start to rise, and all that is meant for you is going to be magnetized to you. There are going to be some parts that are a little bit wobbly at first. Sometimes we're clearing some heavy stuff, but there are other times when there's just a beautiful flow to things, and it does require courage. And this is the thing, surrender requires courage. It's not a giving up thing. It's one of the most proactive things that you can do, is to surrender to who you are and to surrender to life. And that requires courage. And that's not something that I can particularly teach, but I can equip you with the tools that would allow you to take those steps. And it's just one step. It's not one big step. It's just one small step forward.
Exactly. And I love that because that's what's going to become sustainable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I think too, you take that one step and you see it, oh, okay, It's all right.
It's possible.
And then that it's possible. I did it. I didn't die. And then that gives you the confidence to take the second step and then the third step and the fourth step, and you build on. So your people who are looking for you, they're at that point where what have they realized or what are they coming to realize when they're looking for you?
I think by the time they come to me, they are realizing that they're having that certain level of awareness that something's off. And I want to experience happiness, but yet I'm sitting here in my ivory tower, not being happy. Why am I not happy? How is it that this person is happy? How is she this happy? This herself in her bikinis on the beach or in her proper sophisticated clothes. How is she? How can I be the full, easeful embodiment of all of who I am the way she is? So by the
Yeah.
time, yeah, so by the time they come to me, it's normally at that point where it's just, okay, the sex isn't doing it, and the orgasms aren't doing it anymore, the money isn't doing it anymore, the amazing health body, the juice lemon detox cleanse are not doing it anymore. What is it? How do I
And
get that happy?
and they don't necessarily need to know how. They just need to know that they want something different. And then that's where you come in, isn't it?
Yes, yes, just offer
And what
something
is it
more.
they're going to get by working from you? Why should
Well,
I work with you, Andrea? What's in it for me?
you should work with me because if you want to like 100x your level of joy, if you want to work with me, if you want to experience magic in the mundane, like all of the things that you do, whether it's work or whether it's spending time with your family, spending time with your friends, all these normal things, every single one of those things gets to be ritual. Every single one of those things get to expand your heart in the most amazing ways if you allow yourself to tap into it, and if you allow all of those things to not just be a crutch, if you allow all of those things to be part of a joyful, easeful way of living. And if you have any issues, if you have any challenges around being unable to receive, or having this mindset that you need to be self-sacrificing, or having this belief that you're not enough, and because if those are all very, let's say, low vibration thoughts, and every single thought, every single emotion has its own unique frequency. So how can we shift all of that out so that your natural abundant self can come through? And I don't know what your natural abundant self is going to look like. I really don't, because it's so unique to each and every one of us. And I think that's part of the fun, is that we get to walk together and see what that looks like for you. What does the phoenix emerging that is you, what does that look like? It'll be something to discover for both of us, and most importantly, for you.
That sounds so exciting. And
Because
it's
it's a
so fun.
beautiful journey.
It is. And I love that you will find the joy in the mundane, because we think that our lives need to be, I don't know what we think they need to be, but you can have fun in every moment. I will always remember a lady when this was a long time ago, I would have been in my early 20s. And there was a lady who I was working for a large hotel chain at that point. And I'm pretty sure she was in the HR department. But she was just this person who was always happy and smiling. And everyone would say, Carol could have fun at a tax conference. She's just that sort of person. She would have a fun at a tax conference. And that I think that's the most mundane thing you could ever do. Sorry, I don't mean to offend any tax attorneys. It's very necessary. But this is the thing. We get to have fun no matter what it is that you're doing. And if you can do that, then that just rubs off onto everyone around you. And gosh, can you imagine how amazing the world would be if everyone was happy?
Right? Oh my God. And this is what I want to spread in the world. I want everyone to experience that joy. And I don't mean that soulless kind of happiness from getting the newest iPhone. I'm talking about joy,
Mm.
real joy, the kind of joy where when you look at someone and you see their face just radiant and glowing. And it's not because of the skincare, though the glass foundation does help or whatever, but like genuine joy. It's all over their auric field. Talking to them feels not just light, but it triggers you, it activates your own joy and your own happiness. And you walk away just feeling like you're on this high. Can you imagine if everyone in the world did that for each other?
I know, right? No more road rage. No, no rude people. It would just be incredible because we
Yes.
all know people who are happy and we want to be around those people. And we know people who are unhappy and we do not want to be around those people. So
Yes.
when I think of it, it's okay, do I want to be the kind of person that people want to be around or not be around? And yeah.
To be
And
fair,
that's all I have
misery loves
control of.
company. To be
Yes,
fair,
it
misery
does.
does love company, but so does joy.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Thank
I am
you.
loving this conversation, Andrea. Thank
Me
you so
too.
much. It's fun, right? I'm having a lot of fun just being in your presence
I
because
love it.
your energy is beautiful.
Thank you, Helen. I received that.
Now, before we wrap things up, is there anything else that you would like to say, leave the audience with?
I would say if there was anything that I'd love to leave the audience with is coming back to a question that you asked earlier, which is that the best investment that you could give yourself is to pour love and joy into yourself. And that looks like working on yourself, getting more wisdom and more wisdom to better yourself, to evolve into the highest, best version of yourself. Because the closer and closer you get to your heart, the closer and closer the things that you deeply desire, you will find in your reality. And you don't even have to hustle for it, you don't have to chase for it. It just blossoms from within. And I can't wait for you to experience that day.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, you don't have to look at and go, oh, she's so lucky. You can be that lucky
Yes.
person.
Yes.
And as hard as it might seem, because we've got that fear, it's actually easier to work on yourself than it is to try and change other people.
Oh my
You'll have
God,
so much
yes.
more success.
At least because if we're working on ourselves, we can control who we are. But we can't control
Exactly.
other people. We have to respect their sovereignty. So, yeah, it's the
We can
fastest way.
influence them through how we are as we can have a positive influence, we can have a negative influence. So yeah,
That's
it's,
true too.
I completely agree. It's the best money you will ever spend or the best time you will ever spend is working on yourself to be the best version of you that you can be and have the ripple that you want to have in the world. So if you are looking for that, if you are stuck, if you are not happy, or if you're just meh, and you want more. You don't have to know how or why or who or what or anything. You just have to want more. And a starting point would be to get in contact with you, Andrea, and just
Yeah.
have a conversation and see where the conversation leads you.
Beautiful. Yes, come contact me. I don't bite. Thank you, Helen.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. You too.
Andrea Fung's final reflections were a heartfelt reminder that the best investment we can make is in our own joy and our own self-love. When we pour into ourselves, everything we desire begins to blossom naturally from within. If Andrea's energy spoke to your soul, connect with her and discover how to experience magic in the mundane, unlock authentic joy, and embody your most radiant self. All her details are in the links below. And at Sacred You, we are committed to creating a space where women from all over the world can support, uplift, and empower each other. Visit our website to explore upcoming workshops, events, and community offerings. Check us out at www.sacredu, that's the letter U, .love. And as always, please subscribe to our podcast, share it with a friend, or leave us a review. We would love to hear your thoughts. As Andrea shared, joy isn't a luxury. It's our natural state, our guidance system, and our greatest gift to the world. The journey to ease, embodiment, and fulfillment isn't about chasing a vision board. It's about aligning with the essence of who you truly are. Until next time, stay grounded, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep walking your pathway to well-being.